Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with the host of the program, Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, most people are very concerned about which comes first. Sell first, then live in temporary housing, or buy first, then sell at your leisure. Barb, what are some of the solutions that you have at Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty?
Well, Richard, I think most people want the certainty to know that number one, their house will sell, that they're getting the price that they want and need, that things will go smoothly and it will close on time. And that doesn't always happen. I'm experiencing one right now where the closing has been delayed for 2 weeks for a myriad of mess ups, like the appraiser wanted things fixed. I didn't get the word. I asked for the word. And then so to try to explain this to the seller, and then it was sort of like I was swimming in glue trying to push this thing along and nobody else was cooperating. So we made the buyer pay his daily interest for that for sure. But those kind of things are very disruptive in the end, and they'd rather not do that and close on time and as planned. And not everybody really is wealthy enough to have the luxury to be able to buy their next home first and then go back and sell their current home. It's a little bit hard for some people to do that, and it's nerve-wracking to pull that off. So the biggest dilemma is for sellers. Once they have a destination idea in mind, is how are they going to be able to get their hard-earned equity out of their house to buy that next home? Can they do it at the same time? Or do they have to make an offer contingent on their house selling and possibly compromise their negotiations on that end, maybe not even get the house that they want because the seller won't accept it? And most real estate agents really have very limited number of solutions if their buyer has a house to sell. And there are quite a few of them out there. So you want to make sure if you're a seller and you're in that situation that you hire the team that knows how to guarantee the sale, that knows how to show up with offers. We show up with at least 6 cash offers on your house. Hire the team that gets them top dollar if they decide to go on the open market, that makes the process the least amount of hassle, and then guarantees a smooth on-time closing and full market value for their house. So let me just tell a story to kind of illustrate sort of what happens here. So I've got a home on the market right now. It's on acreage. It's really cool. It's in the trees and it's got a big garage and it's really neat. Anyway, so this agent brought me an offer on that home, but it was contingent on their home selling, and their home was not yet on the market. Well, we had been on the market for a while and the seller wanted to start high. We tested the higher price. It didn't work, but they did, systematically lower the price. And we're finally starting to get some interest. So this was really our first offer. We had no other option. So I said, you can test it if you want, but there are some issues with accepting a contingent offer because basically you're tying up your house waiting for their house to sell. And that house was not on the market yet. So I asked the agent, so is that home on the market yet? Well, no, not yet. Probably, oh, we're scheduled to have it happen next week. And I said, okay, tell me about the house. Oh, it's just so pretty. It's got granite and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, and where are you going to price the home? Uh, I don't know. I'm like, you don't know. I mean, that's just weird. And so basically they're saying, all right, we're going to sell this house out here, but we don't know for what price. We don't even know what it's worth yet, but we want to tie up your home. We want to reserve your home and wait for me to sell this unknown entity out there. Right. And would that give you a warm fuzzy, Richard?
No, that would not give me a warm fuzzy, and I don't think it would give anyone a warm fuzzy.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, so the story gets worse, right? The I said, look, I took that address that she was selling, I put it up on my cash offer platform. Boom, I got 6 to 8 offers. I said, hey, I got some cash offers on your listing right now. Can I present those? And she goes, no. I'm like, okay, well, it seems like maybe they have equity, they're putting a big down payment. Have you considered this other option where there's actually an investor out there that will let you take the equity out of your home? It's not a loan, it's a lien on your current house, right? And the cost of the money is only 2.4%. And you could buy this home without selling your current home. And then you have 120 days after to sell your current home. Have you considered that? No, no, we're just going to do the traditional way. Okay, so I present it to the seller. We get into negotiations. The one thing that they insisted on was to change the status in our local and my beloved Pikes Peak MLS to something called RGT. RGT stands for right of refusal. This is probably the only MLS that has this status. It's kind of a anomaly with all the big box websites like Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com. And basically, the theory behind it is you're telling the other agents that the seller accepted a contract contingent on somebody's home selling that is not sold yet. So if that next agent comes along and has a buyer that wants the home and they don't have a house to sell, they can make an offer and boot out buyer number one, right? So that's theoretically what the status means. The problem is it shows up on all the big box sites where the buyers are. I know this because I ask these buyers when they come to my open houses, where did you find this house? Zillow, Zillow, Zillow. It's always Zillow. So Zillow shows it under contract. Realtor.com shows it as if it's under contract, right? So that creates all kinds of demand destruction with the public because it tells the public the home is not available, which is not true. It is available if you have a buyer that doesn't have a house to sell, unless buyer number one can remove their contingency, right? So they insisted on it putting in that status. And I told the sellers not to worry. I have an alternative MLS I use that doesn't have that status. So we're not going to put it in that one. We'll put it in the Pikes Peak MLS just to satisfy them. So that's what we did. But it did create demand destruction from the other 5,400 agents in this market. They didn't want to show it. And I found just from training my own agents and asking questions that a majority of agents don't even know what that status means. And if they have a like an automated search set up for their buyers, they don't search for homes that are in this status. It's to them, it's not available, which is unbelievable. But anyway, it's not surprising to me that agents don't really know their own tools within the MLS. I find that many of them don't even read the MLS. In fact, they use the showing service app to set showings. They don't read the MLS. So that's a problem. And I wasn't sure if it was going to be a problem. So we had pretty good volume of showings before we changed to the status. And then when we changed, the volume of showings dropped off substantially. So the end of the story was we did have some demand destruction. We had 1 or 2 showings, but not nearly as many as we did before. And then the deal blew up. We didn't reach agreement over inspection. Now that buyer wanted back in. They were like demanding, if we don't get what we want, we're going to walk. And we're like, okay, bye-bye. Because at this point, their house was on the market. And you know what, Richard? Their house was priced, no kidding, $185,000 over current market value. There's no way that house is going to sell at that price for 5 years, let alone longer, in my view. And, you know, I told the seller, look, how are you going to get that seller's mindset off the idea that their home is worth way more? Their home is worth way less than what they're currently asking. It's just not going to happen. It's clear to me that that agent had no expertise, and or the seller insisted, you know, because I have granite counters, my house must be worth 185,000 over market value. I don't know. But at the end of the day, they wanted back in, and I suggested to the seller, I said that I don't see a way where they could be successful right now. Maybe if they get their home under contract later, we'll consider it, right? So you want to make sure that you hire the team that has your back, because I even went so far as to talk to their lender and ask them, hey, is it possible if we let them back in that they could buy this home without selling their current home? And the answer was no. So I'm like, all right, fine. This is mission impossible. We got to move on. So that's what we did. So my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about if you want to buy your next home, but you have a house to sell, what you can do about it. And when we come back, we're going to touch on some solutions to make you move to your next home hassle-free. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, we've gone from nearly all homes selling for a premium price to homes sitting longer on the market and some homes actually not selling. How do you give your home sellers certainty when it comes to a sale?
Well, we have a lot of solutions for home sellers. But if you are one of the lucky ones that has some equity, some pretty good equity in your home, which a lot of people do, you can take the equity out of your current home to buy your next home. And there's a couple different ways to do it. You can do it with a bridge loan. You could do it with this investor that charges 2.4% on the money. There's a lot of solutions for that, but some people are afraid of it because now it's like, okay, I'm committed. I got to sell my home in 120 days. And that's right. And you can do it as long as you price it right. So this solution is really designed for people that really are unable to sell prior to closing. Like some people just don't want to show their home before they move out for various reasons. Maybe it doesn't show that well, or maybe they have kids and dogs and cats and birds and whatever, that showing would be difficult. So and some people may not be able to qualify for both payments. However, if with this solution you don't have a payment, you just have a lien on your house. So there are options out there, and we can guide you into those options. One of the options, of course, is to get a cash offer and accept a cash offer. I've helped at least a dozen people sell their home cash, never went on the market, got pretty darn close to full market value, sold in 2.5 weeks, and they were happy as clams. Or you tap into our over 28,000 buyers in waiting, many of which will pay 100% of market value. But at the end of the day, you want to hire somebody that knows how to get this right. I just helped a family sell their home. They are moving out of state, and initially when we talked, we were talking about one price, but then when we looked at the market again a couple months later, it looks like it's correcting. You want to make sure you price it right. They priced it right. We got it sold in 1 day for over asking price. That's what it takes in this market. You can't dally around and hope that somebody's going to overpay. It's just not going to happen. My name is Barb Schlinker. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Remember to give her a call at 719-301-3900. Ask for Barb Schlinker. You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, no matter what it is, just give Barb a call, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about, do home buyers really need a buyer's agent? Stay tuned for that.